Junior Achievement of Greater Washington is a nonprofit organization that partners with local school systems to bring unique programming to every student from middle through high school. Dominion Energy has been a long-standing partner with Junior Achievement Finance Park for over 25 years, providing grants of $25,000 annually for the past 13 years. Dominion Energy also maintains the only utility storefront at JA's Finance Park in Fairfax. To tell us about JA's Finance Park, we have Sarah Burnett, Junior Achievements of Greater Washington's Vice President of Program Operations. Thanks for coming in, Sarah.
Thanks so much for having me, Peggy. I'm so glad to be here.
Glad to have you. And I would like you to tell us about Finance Park, JA's Finance Park. I've been there for a short tour, but let everyone know what it is.
Sure. So JA Finance Park is a number of things, but most importantly, it is an innovation in experiential education. It's also a partnership between Fairfax County Public Schools, Junior Achievement, and the business community and the employers like Dominion Energy that we're so glad to have represented in the facility. So Finance Park actually starts in the classroom. It starts with educators across FCPS middle schools in the civics and math classes. Students are learning all about what it means to have a job, have an income, to think about what education they're going to need to have the job that they want. They're learning about budgeting, they're learning about savings, investing, risk management, debit, credit, all the things that you and I have to think about all the time. They are learning about in the classroom with their teachers, but it culminates with a simulation, a budgeting simulation experience at the JA Finance Park facility over on the campus of Frost Middle School.
Like real life all boiled down to one day.
Real life boiled down to one day. Students walk through the doors at JA Finance Park and they transform. They are no longer FCPS 8th graders. They are now adults in the real world having to budget for the life that they are given for the day.
Whew. So I did mention storefronts and that
Yes.
Dominion Energy has a storefront. Explain what storefronts are.
Yes, this is a piece of JA language I have to remind my team all the time that not everybody knows. A storefront is a breakout room in our facility that represents the line item on a budget. So for example, as you mentioned, Dominion Energy is our utilities line item representing both gas and electric in the home.
All right.
So we have 18 storefronts at JA Finance Park, Fairfax County, and each one of those storefronts represents a line item on a budget.
Yes, you have the big expenses like housing, mortgage payments,
Yes.
college, things
all
like
of
that.
those needs, those things we have to plan for, like our housing, our transportation, paying that education debt. All
Yes.
of those things are represented, but so are our wants, things like dining out and vacation.
I went to visit during COVID, so there were no kids there. What is it like when kids are there? What kind of expressions and I mean, what do they go through? Are they? Is it just a realization? What is it like for them?
Well, it's an incredible day that with, I would say, peaks and valleys for our students. They come in and they find out what their life scenario is for the day, what job they have, whether or not they have a spouse or children. They learn about what education they have and the debt to go along with it. And they look at that and they say, oh my gosh, and it's a hubbub of, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And then they focus in. And they learn about all of these things about this life. They learn about all of the budget line items. They start building a budget and it's very focused. And they have to get up and move around and shop. And so there's this wonderful cadence to the day where the students are up and excited and doing things, and the times when they're really focused on individual work, and it's very cool to see.
That is fascinating. So they're handed a profile.
Yes, they're handed a profile. We call it a life scenario for the day. And it's that job, that education, family life situation. Some of them get the surprise of finding that they have a spouse, but the spouse does not contribute income to the house.
What?
And they have to figure out how are they going to make it work, just like you and I have to figure out how we're going to make it work each month.
That is fascinating. Describe some of the other scenarios if you know.
So we have students that are managing life scenarios all the way from about a $30,000 a year salary up to a $110,000 a year salary. Now, these salaries are based on national averages, so they don't always reflect exactly what salaries look like here in Fairfax County, but they give the students a great experience of what it's like to be an adult. I will tell you I'll tell you the top two things that kids say. Number one, oh my gosh, kids are expensive. Lovely thing to learn when they're in 8th grade.
Love that they know that. That's good. Light bulb. Hello.
And then I really got to go home and thank my parents.
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe they do this every month.
I don't remember my kids. I know they went through it, and it's what a wonderful experience for these kids.
Every adult that comes through JA Finance Park says, really wish I had this when I was a kid.
Yes, yeah, right. So they go through, and then what happens at the end? Does anyone become homeless at the end?
No, the goal is for every student to build a balanced household budget, to make shopping choices within that budget, and to pay their bills. So throughout the day, the students, they start with getting to know that life scenario. They spend some time researching each line item on the budget just to get an idea of what they might want to spend. Then they build out their budget. And they have to actually go shopping. So they might get a little surprised on some things. They might budget and they say, you know what, I only think I'm going to need $100 a month for health insurance. And then they have to go shopping and find there's not a single plan for their family of 4 that's only $100 a month.
Wow.
So how do you make do, right? You have to spend more in health insurance. You can't not buy health insurance, not an option. So you have to spend less somewhere else.
Just so like it really is. I mean, you really tell them you must have this.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you must have some kind of a place to live.
Exactly.
You must have. What about car payments?
Yep. They have to budget for transportation. Now they have the choice. They can purchase a vehicle, and they do have to apply for an auto loan. Some students will be approved, and some will not, based on the credit scores aligned with their life scenario.
Oh wow, you really go all out.
Yep. It's a very real simulation. So they can buy a car, they could lease a car, or they can choose public transit.
That is just fascinating. Do you change up the profiles every year?
We do not. Okay. Occasionally there'll be a new one installed, but typically, the students only come once and they only get one life scenario, so we're able to reuse those and keep it easy on the technology side.
How many scenarios?
We have 150 different life scenarios that are randomly assigned to the students when they come visit us.
You will have kids come in and not one of them will have the same.
They will not.
They will all have a different profile.
Absolutely.
Then they can't cheat.
What
are you doing?
No, but they can have conversations.
Okay, yes.
Because conversations are the core of learning about budgeting. And to understand that my wants and needs may be different from your wants and needs. Right. So that's really important.
Yeah, so even if I did have the same profile as somebody else, it's going to wind up different at the end
because you have
we'll
different
have different
priorities.
wants and needs and priorities. Yeah. What a great experience. Is this, so we have it in Fairfax. What about elsewhere? Is it across the country?
It is across the country. So there are 39 junior achievement area offices that offer JA Finance Park as one of the programs in their programmatic mix. That's of about 102 JA area offices across the country. Here in the greater Washington region, we're pleased to have 3 JA Finance Park facilities here in Fairfax County, in Montgomery County, Maryland, and in Prince George's County, Maryland. I'm really pleased to say that in just a few short years, we'll be offering a JA Finance Park facility to the District of Columbia.
Wow, that is fantastic. We often hear about financial literacy and how we have a desperate need for financial literacy. And many states, in fact, have mandates.
Yes.
I know Fairfax County, or the state of Virginia, has a financial literacy component.
And we're so pleased to be chosen as the partner to help deliver financial literacy education for FCPS, meeting those middle school requirements. So everything, soup to nuts for JA Finance Park, from that curriculum in the classroom to the simulation experience, is fully aligned with those state standards to meet that financial literacy requirement in middle school.
And I think also it's so hands-on. You call it experiential learning, but it's hands-on.
It is. It is. And for our young people, they're so excited. They want nothing more than to be an adult and to be in charge of the decision making in their household. And so this gives them a taste of what that's like. And so many of them come in so excited and then see that it is challenging, and they're a little happy to hand the reins back over to their parents.
Right, exactly. I know. You hear your kids say, they want to get out of the house or go do this on their own, and they don't know everything involved with being on your own.
Yeah. The number of times I've heard, wait, we have to pay for water?
That costs money? Pay for electricity?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really eye-opening for some of these kids to learn all this. So how can people get involved? Do you take on volunteers?
We absolutely do. At JA Finance Park, Fairfax County, we ask our community to contribute 18 volunteers a day minimum. And that is so that each one of those storefronts, those breakout rooms, has an adult that is not a student's parent, that is not their teacher, because we mix up the parents from their students.
Yes, of course.
To have some conversations about budgeting and about the shopping choices that they're making. So they get that opportunity to connect with another adult. We invite all the parents from the school community for each school that visits us to come and participate. We invite local employers, and we invite members of the local community to come and join us and help students to experience JA Finance Park and learn a little bit about how to budget.
Well, yes, I did get the email from my colleague at Dominion Energy that we are going to be signing up for some volunteering, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting. How do you measure success? Is there a test for these kids at the end?
So what's really exciting is that this budgeting simulation is their test. This is the practical application of what they've been learning in the classroom. They get to come in and put it into practice in building out that family budget and making those shopping decisions. So what we see at the end is students who are making those challenging shopping decisions successfully and having that balanced budget at the end of the month.
What kind of reaction have you gotten from parents?
Parents absolutely love it. I think the hardest part for parents is that we ask them not to be with their students in the storefronts and to give their students a chance to talk to some other adults, but they all walk away saying, oh my goodness, I wish I'd had this when I was a kid. I'm so glad that my students get this opportunity, and particularly in 8th grade, before they're making some of the big financial decisions that they'll be making as they prepare for college.
Hopefully it'll teach them not to make mistakes.
Yes.
You know, no, you don't need to buy that.
Yes.
You know,
well, they get to make the mistakes in the simulation, and
Yes.
students will. They'll make mistakes. They'll make a shopping decision that they'll say, I wish I hadn't done that.
Oh, and they can't go back.
They can't go back.
Oh, because they move along? Explain how that works.
Yeah, so once they get to the shopping portion of the day, they're making those decisions in each budget category. Once they've made a decision and paid that bill is paid.
They can't take the Ferrari back.
Not take the Ferrari back. But it's good that they're doing it in a simulation because it's not real. They don't get to take the JA Finance Park debit card with them. It doesn't work out there in the real world. But they can learn something that they can take with them when it's time to make those real decisions with real dollars.
So every middle schooler in Fairfax County comes
Every
through.
single 8th grader every year gets a chance to participate in JA Finance Park. So it's coming through their civics classes and their math classes. They're learning this curriculum, a lot of math and budgeting, I'll have you know.
Do they bring their, well, you have a calculator on your phone, so they're all, if they,
So they have a tablet that helps support them through the day. There's a calculator built into the tablet so that they can do those calculations. But every single 8th grader participates in JA Finance Park, again, to meet that financial literacy requirement as set by the state.
And I know during COVID you took a break in terms of coming in, but everyone's back?
All of our students are back to the in-person budgeting simulation, and while the facility was closed during COVID for everyone's safety, we actually created a virtual version of the simulation that could be delivered at school last year, and then we even, the year prior when students were learning remotely, had a simulation that they could experience at home. So no one has missed out on financial literacy education these last several years.
That is so wonderful. Thank you so much for everything you're doing at JA Finance Park and Junior Achievement.
Thank you, and thanks to Dominion Energy for all they do to support this work, because we can't do it without you.
Well, it's really great what you're doing, and we know it, and we wanted you to come in and share it with everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And many thanks to you and the entire JA staff. On behalf of the Dominion Energy Charitable Foundation, we appreciate all of the nonprofits who are educating and empowering people in our communities. We are thankful for your work and proud to support you. Take care of yourself and each other, and please be safe.